Welcome home, Raiders! This week, the Legion Alpha continues. We'll see what's new for our crew, and what the heck are the devs doing with Overwatch? That and a lot more. This is CTR number 208.
You're listening to Convert to Raid, the podcast for Raiders in the World of Warcraft.
Convert to Raid podcast power station in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Today is January 26th, 2016, and it is now, 9:15 p.m. Central Time. Thank you so much for joining us from all around World of Warcraft land. And hello, my name is Pat Crane. I am the host of this little show, and as always, the players are here. No Darius this week. He's getting ready for PAX South in Texas. That's a thing. It is. So we've got from the Lords of the Storm podcast, all about Heroes of the Storm, we've got Gizmo.
You know, I think the last time Shark and I did a show together, Darius was also missing. So
yeah.
Is this some sort of trend going on?
You're the go-to. You guys are the go-to.
He can't handle both of us, so he just has to step out.
Shark comes into the show and he's like, I'm out. That's it. And also from Adults with Jobs and one of the Aspera guys, it is Sharku. Hello.
So I found that my raid team likes to start making fun of some of the stuff that I say during raid. So I wanted to share some of that with you guys today. One of my best pieces of advice is that if you stay alive to the end of the fight, there's a really good chance you'll kill the boss. That's something that we should take with us. Think about that. Think about it. It's Zen.
It is something to think about.
I said that to my raid group, and it was really quiet for a minute, and all of them went, duh, man,
and they
duh.
just went,
if everyone's alive at the end of the fight, yes, we kill the boss. Yes, we know that.
Of course.
That's not helpful.
Of course. Well, welcome to the show, fellas. Welcome everybody out there, and thank you for joining us for another lovely evening with WoW Talk and all things Blizzard. So, on Convert to Raid. And we have got a lot kind of going on in the game, I know that there's not necessarily a lot of news, but we are playing a lot of the alpha, and we're playing a lot of these different games, and so we'll make sure to report what we know to you guys.
Hey, I'm still playing a lot of Warlords, man. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, and a lot of Warlords, too.
And
a lot of Warlords, too. We should actually talk about that first. Shark, why don't you go first? What's going on in Warlords for you?
Well, I think this is the first time I've been on the show since To Hardcore's downed Archimond.
Oh, my. Look out.
Nice.
We got normal Archimond
there we go.
down. There it is.
I got it.
Yeah.
Nice work.
Got normal Archimond down. Last week, this past week, we're doing some farming, trying to get some tier gear. I'm really the only one on my team that doesn't have tier gear now. There is something, I think this is what it is. I've been getting, ever since the alpha came out and I got in, I get flack from people about how I'm in the alpha and I don't play enough and I'm wasting my alpha and all this sort of. And I do play the alpha. I do try to get it. I'm trying to save spoilers, though. I don't want to play it too much because I want to save that experience for release day. But I think this is the WoW gods getting me back for not playing the alpha enough. Because I have run HFC at least every week, give or take a week for the past 3 months. And I have one piece of tier gear.
That's rough.
Wow.
One piece of tier geer.
Wow.
I almost feel bad for you. Then I remembered you're a mage, so.
That's true. The sad part is I'm still like top 3 on the meters.
Oh, man.
Don't even have a 2-piece.
Oh, man.
So just you got to Frost Orb and win. But anyway, yeah, it's kind of sad. But we're doing really good. I think we're going to start heroics actually this week. I've been told that I need to pug normals to farm. So if anybody has a normal raid team that's going to do some tier farming and wants an OP mage to go with them, hit me up at Sharku_CTR on Twitter.
Right on. Hey,
I'll go with your group.
And also, we were talking about this before the show, but Adults with Jobs, your Heroes of the Storm team, is going into the chair league, right?
That's
we
right.
talked about this before.
Yeah, I mentioned last time I was on a few weeks ago that we were going to do chair league, or maybe we'd already had a game. I'm not sure. But we are 3 weeks in. We're 2-1. We had a couple really good games against some good teams. And then we faced a team yesterday, and I'll go ahead and give them a shout out. They're an incredibly talented team called Squirtle Squad.
I love the name.
The name's a little silly, but
the name's
they
awesome. Are you kidding me?
And they spanked us pretty hard. I mean, it was a lot closer for people that understand the game, and even the casters caught this. The game was a lot closer than it looked. It looked like just a total beatdown. And they did outplay us a lot, but there were some really key comeback points that we almost were able to tip the scales, and it got kind of scary for their team a couple times, I think. But yeah, incredibly strong team. I think that they are going to be the team to beat. Hopefully we get another chance to take them out. But Chair League's been a lot of fun, man. A lot of great competition, a lot of really talented amateur teams on there.
It's actually pretty cool. I mean, I've been hearing more and more about Chair League from everybody else out there, and it sounds like a really great organization. So, well, they've
even got some big name casters that are doing some of the games.
Right.
Jake, right? Simple Jake.
Yeah, Solid Jake.
Solid Jake. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Simple Jake. Sorry.
Simple Jake.
Simple Jake. That's
Jake. Jen, no, it's not. It's not. It's not like that. No.
Solid Jake. I know Forecourt Jester has casted a couple of the games. Some of the higher profile games with some of the bigger winners. With the higher win rates, they get casted by the big guys. But it's just really a lot of fun as an amateur player to be casted by Solid Jake or Forecourt or some of those guys. I mean, it's just, who knows? Maybe they'll have a guest appearance by like Gilly or Zoya, or who knows the way that this is spreading. Cool. If Gilly casts me, I'm going to just be blushing the whole time. Like I will. There's no way I'd be able to play. I'm such a Gilly fanboy.
Right.
I know she's so good, so fun.
We got to see her that pretty much the entire time at BlizzCon.
She was right. Like there was a while she was just hanging out right next to us at the tournament.
Did you go up and fanboy all over, or what?
No, I didn't. Nothing? I didn't want my girlfriend to get jealous. Sitting right next to me, and I'm not that way about her. I'm really not, but there's no reason to, I know she's gonna listen to the show too. She's like, oh, so you just don't want to talk to me? She's not like that at all. I'm making it. This is all entertainment, folks. It's God.
Sure,
and I love you. Don't pick up with me.
This is all just under the umbrella of entertainment for everybody else.
I'm trying to show a good time. Oh boy.
Right.
Anyway. Yeah, I would. Well, but honestly, cool. I probably wouldn't be any less fanboyish if it were, Solid Jake or Forecourt or somebody like that.
Sure.
But anyway, it's just a lot of fun. It's a really cool community thing, and I can't wait to see it really take off.
Awesome. Gizmo, what's been happening with you lately?
Oh, a whole lot of stuff. Of course, been playing a lot of Heroes, probably more than usual. I've got some buds that we do Team League 2 nights a week now, and that's probably the most fun I've had in the game in a long time. I mean, that's the way the game is meant to be played. Eventually, once it gets there, it's still having some trouble, actually getting people in there right now. But then I have a sad story for Diablo. That I didn't get to share because I wasn't here last week. So, and this is just a warning to everyone who plays hardcore. And
I have a feeling I know where this is going.
Yeah, I was doing really good, doing really well, playing a lot whenever the Season 5 launched, staying up on the leaderboards in Crusader. And I'm just minding my own business, farming gear. And a friend of mine says, hey, I have a Goblin Vault T10. Do you want to come? was like, oh, sure, whatever. He's like, just stay back. I got this. So, of course, I think, okay, he's got this. I'll stay back. He did not have it.
No, trusting friends is I don't know.
He did not. Yeah. And I don't want to call him out or anything.
But you're going to call him out.
But it was Invin.
Tobo tried to get me to roll a hardcore character with him. I told him I have never played hardcore. I will never. I'm sure it's a lot of fun and it's the way to play. But there's no way I would throw my monitor through my screen. Like I can't. I die so much, guys.
Well, you wouldn't hardcore because you play it differently. It's completely different. And the nice thing about hardcore is, because I enjoy Diablo, I play it really hard, and then when I lose that first character, and I'm not going to be, if you lose a character, most likely you're going to fall off the leaderboards and not be able to catch back up. Mm-hmm. So then you can just, okay, my hardcore, I have a life again now. I can stop playing Diablo, just hop in every once in a while, and still have a good time with it. So
right. Well, and Endon is one of the Aspare guys, so we have to give him a hard time.
Yeah,
on the show.
I think possible. He felt pretty bad about it. He was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry," and I was like, "It's okay." And I logged off and I didn't say anything else. And yeah,
that's funny.
Sage Time in the chat is letting me know that I just said I would throw my monitor through my screen.
You could have two monitors.
I do have two monitors. It's just that sounded funny, and I didn't mean it that way. So there you go. Right. I meant to say through the wall or something, but I don't know. I promise I'm not taking any of my medicine today.
None?
Save that for later. Now that happens after the show.
Oh, okay. All right. Good.
Yeah.
So for me, I know that I've been still playing the hunter, trying to get the hunter geared up and trying to get going on maybe jumping into some normals and heroic raids and where kind of wherever I can, depending on timing. And the timing has just been really bad over the last week or so, and it's just been like I don't even know, because we had like the 3rd year anniversary for the guild, and that was really great, and it was a lot of fun. There were a lot of different events. Gizmo, you were doing stuff for that as well. You did a heroes event. Mm-hmm. I jumped in at the end of that, and you were like completely flustered and tongue-tied because like dry mouth or whatever.
Yeah, it's talking that fast for, I think it was like 3.5 hours casting games. Yeah. I'm pretty sure at the end I wasn't saying words. I was just trying to show excitement.
I was surprised you weren't just like, bro. So
that was a really fun time though, because there was a whole bunch of people that came to that were really nervous about playing. Like they just played AI matches and were nervous about playing other people, and we got them in there and they had a blast. Everyone had fun. Good. And so hopefully we'll get some more people from CTR playing some heroes.
Right on. Well, we had that, and so we had like all last week was all about the 3rd year anniversary, and to the event coordinators over at the CTR Guild, thank you guys so much for setting all that stuff up. It was really great. It was a lot of fun. And I know that I have prizes to dole out to some folks for the pet battles and for something else. I can't remember what, but I've got some prizes to dole out for people. So there was that and a bunch of other stuff going on. But yeah, it's been good. It's been good playing the hunter lately. I don't know. I've been having a lot of fun with it. Having fun again there and in the alpha. We'll talk more about the alpha here in a little bit. Mm-hmm. But there was that, and then so Hearthstone before like the Christmas break, stuff like that. I had some people talk to me and say, you know what, you should try for rank. You should try for going, sub 10. That's and really that should be the first goal, right? I mean, just kind of like trying to dip your toes past
well, and I know,
level 10.
I know, I don't know if it's the same numbers because this was quite a while back, but at one point, they were talking to Ben Brode about it, and he said something to the effect of the top 2% of the players are sub 10.
Right.
Like that's what it is. I say like at level 10, the top 2%. And I bet the numbers, I'm sure with more players, it got skewed a little bit. But yeah, that's not an easy task.
No, it isn't. And I'm not looking forward to it at all. But I've been thinking about it because I'm like going, well, I mean, normally on a regular month, I will get to, level 13, 12
right.
Anyway. And so going to sub 10 really shouldn't be that much harder. I mean, it's just, a couple of different levels.
It's always that between 11 and 10, right?
Right. And so like I think where I've landed was level 12.
You got a few days left.
And that's not even with trying. And so I'm trying to think about, like next month, do I have time? Do I have the decks that will allow me to do such things and all that kind of stuff? And I'm like going, I don't know.
What deck are you using right now? Just curious.
So I have a Raptor Rogue, which is pretty solid. What?
His face does this. He goes,
nah, Raptor Rogue.
Okay. I've not heard of Raptor Rogue.
Raptor Rogue.
No, I have seen it. It's the one with the Death Rattle Raptor.
Yeah, it's a Death Rattle Raptor.
Not just the regular Beast Raptor.
Right. It's not the regular like Hunter Raptor thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So no, but it's a Raptor Rogue Death Rattle thing, and then there's also the Shaman Murloc deck, which is surprising.
Okay.
Which is surprising.
That one too.
And that one is I call it the Murshock deck.
Yeah.
Murshock. And that one actually works out pretty well as well. Even at like level 13, 14. It works out really well. And I'm sure that it goes away at some point and you can't use it anymore, but whatever.
Everyone's going to hate me, but I would tell you if you have the dust to make a
Secret
Tyrion.
Power.
Yeah.
No, I have a Tyrion.
Do you have Tyrion?
Yeah. I've got a Secret Pally deck that's awesome too.
See that's what I would ride that all the way. That's usually
But everybody knows how to counter Secret Pally now. So
mid-range Druid's where it's at right now.
They still don't do it
mid-range
well.
Druid,
really?
Yeah.
Druid? I've been struggling with my Druid.
It's the top deck right now.
Mid-range Druid, mid-range Hunter, Control Mage. I mean, these are the things that people kind of live on.
Oh my god, Frost Mages are the most annoying thing on the planet in that game.
I know!
And
which is why they work!
But I don't have all the cards for it, but they're so, every time I get them down to 2 life, and they wait for you to do that, and they pop their... Oh my god. It's the most annoying thing ever because you have lethal for years.
Yeah.
And then they just keep freezing you and stalling out, and pyroblast.
I have another great Hearthstone deck, another great mage deck that is a Mage Giants deck that is killer. It is so awesome. When it works, it blows everybody out of the water. So it's so cool. And I think I probably killed you with it, Shark, because I know we played together.
I actually think you have. We played together a few times, and I haven't won every time.
Right. Okay. Well, I think we probably have enough Hearthstone talk for now. We can maybe open up that again a little bit later. But we need to get to the show. Before we get to the show, however, I want to encourage people to go to discord.converttoraid.com and come into our Discord area and come chat with us, because we have a community that is it's a burgeoning community. Is that, I don't know.
Verge? I don't know.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. But it's a growing community in Discord, and it's really great because it's text chat and voice chat, and it's a way for people to communicate together. It doesn't matter whether you're in Europe or in the United States or wherever. Just come join us. Discord.converttoraid.com, and you can check it out and stuff like that. And Gizmo, I know that you guys over at Lords of the Storm have another Discord channel as well, correct?
Absolutely, and it's just Lords of the Storm, but you can find, we don't have a special link, but it's posted at the top of our Twitter, and you can click that and join in. Sure.
I have a question.
But it's a lot of fun, right?
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
my question, Zug, is do you have to be a member of the CTR Guild to join the Discord?
No, you can be anybody. No,
Okay.
you can be anybody. You could be in the EU. You could play Horde. It's fine.
Oh well, now I'm gonna join.
I see.
I miss
While we
Horde
have
so much, by the way.
What's that?
I wanna clearly state that on the show. I miss being an orc. I really do.
Well, and especially since the remodel. I mean, come on.
Yeah, no,
who doesn't
exactly.
love an orc?
After all the cool, I know, and I just miss. I get all my, I like big, mean-looking monster creatures, especially when they have soft baby hearts. Why Thrall's my favorite.
You miss playing the good guys.
But I do. I miss being the good guys.
Right. Instead, we have to play the Alliance bad guys, which is so mean. But anyway, okay, and I know that there's a bunch of Alliance people that are going to be like going, "Oh my God, how can you say that they're the bad guys?" Blah, blah.
Yeah, there are orc mages. I was actually talking about my DK. My Sharku started as an orc.
Yep.
My mage was undead though, and I actually had a whole lore storyline. He actually started as human, and then all my friends started playing Horde. So during Wrath, and so I wrote this whole story about how he was battling the Scourge at the Black Gate, and he fell. To a bunch of undead, and the Horde saved him, and he was reclassified as undead because the Alliance left him to die and be his flesh eaten away by ghouls.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
like
deep,
all sorts
dude.
of stuff. And then he came back as an undead, and they helped give him his autonomy back and all that stuff. Anyway, I know, crazy stuff, right? Lore time with Sharku. Sharku talks about his character's lore.
All right.
You're welcome.
Well, if you want to talk to Shark about lore, about his character's lore or whatever, you can usually find him over on Discord at discord.convertraid.com, as well as the other guys from the show and all the guys from the CTR Guild and a bunch of other folks. So, I mean, come on in, come join us, and it's totally free, and yeah, it's really cool too. So, come on along, discord.convertraid.com. And now we will go into the Raiden news.
Calling all raiders from around World of Warcraft land. This is Raiding News.
All right, it's time to check out what's happening with the news for raiders around the World of Warcrafts. And really the only thing that is available for us to talk about news-wise is the alpha. So, I mean, let's talk a little bit about the alpha. Let's talk about what we've done, what we've seen, what we've played. And Gizmo, let's start with you. What have you been up to lately in the alpha?
So I've been trying. I haven't really done any of the dungeons or anything. I've been playing as many of the classes and specs as I can to just get a feel for them. Mm-hmm. And it still continues to blow my mind how all the subtle changes they've made and some not so subtle changes have really added to the fantasy of each spec. This week I did Enhancement Shaman and Outlaw Rogue.
Oh, good. And I'm so glad you did Enhancement because I did Ellie last week, and that was pretty cool. And Ellie plays very similarly to how Ellie plays now. Obviously, some changes as you look at totems and all that kind of stuff. How was Enhancement for you?
It was fun, but it's interesting because so when I made the tune and then I changed to Enhancement, and it gives you a mace and a shield. So I couldn't really play Enhancement, so I had to do the start of it in Elemental, which was fine, and until I got the Doomhammer and stuff. And I actually just unlocked that. I got the artifact and went to my first starting zone. Mm-hmm. So I haven't gotten to actually dive deep into the enhancement yet, as I had to.
But you got kind of into the starting area,
yes,
and kind of into the artifact and all that kind of stuff. So
the what?
Was that a good experience?
Absolutely. The Shaman class hall is, like you said last week, probably the coolest I've seen so far.
It is.
The Maelstrom is just awesome.
Oh my God, it is so dramatic and awesome, and has all the elements surrounding it, and it's just like it's so huge. as well.
And when you go to upgrade your artifact weapon, like you walk out on a huge pillar out into the middle of the Maelstrom. Like I feel like I was on Lion King. I went out there and tried to beat Simba, but I didn't have him.
I totally did that too. And then did you do what I did where you go, I wonder if I can jump off?
Yeah.
And you can. You can actually jump off and die if you really want to. So it's super awesome.
Here's our new leader.
Sounds
of
like my kind of class hall.
Yeah.
Just as you get dubbed the new leader of the Earthen Ring, you walk up to fix your weapon, and there he goes.
Yep.
I guess.
Yep. There goes Dave again. He's off killing himself.
So there's going to be hundreds of thousands of leaders to the Earthen Ring, is what you're saying.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Okay.
But then the Outlaw Rogue was really fun. That they added like the pistol mechanic to where your main combo points can trigger your pistol, and you whip that out, and then it fills up your meter. And they've got some cool new talents and stuff. It makes it's piratey, which is what I think people are going for. The actual quest to get your artifact weapon is the funnest one I've done so far. Probably one of the more longer ones. I know the Shaman one seemed pretty short.
Okay.
But the Outlaw Rogue one took probably 30 to 45 minutes. And their class hall is actually pretty neat too, down in the underbelly of Dalaran.
Oh yeah. So there was actually a lot of contention about the underbelly of Dalaran being the home for rogues. Mm-hmm. What is down there for rogues to do?
So it's actually originally I thought it would just be kind of somewhere in the underbelly where you could already go, but it's a separate place. It's in one of the corners. I think it's like the northeast or northwest corner. There's like a little sewer gate that you have to go click on, and then it takes you to a different part. But it's cool. It's kind of the same feel. It's got like the like an old tavern and stuff with a big vault full of gold, and then there's like a secret passage that you go to for like the main meeting room with all the hot shots where Garona and all of them are.
Cool. And in the chat room, Ravenhold or Riot. So
I'm right behind them. I don't know. I don't play Rogue. I don't care.
Everybody wanted Ravenhold, but apparently
they can
that's
all vanish for all I care.
Oh boy.
And I will say, all the class halls I've done have been better than the Hunter one, which I'm really disappointed about because I'm a Hunter.
I actually, after the Shaman one, it totally blew my mind, and I was like going, oh my God, this Shaman one is so amazing and so great and whatever. And then I went back to the Hunter one, and I looked around. I actually went around the entire place, and I was like going, okay, how is this different? I mean, obviously it's a different setting, but does this fit Hunters? Does this fit, everything that we know, all the lore stuff? And I'm like going, you know what? It does fit really well with the lore that they're going for, with the class feel of everything. It's not bad, and it's a big place.
I'm hearing
the zone
from
is
you,
beautiful.
It's great. It's great.
Like the Grizzly Hills and stuff. I love that whole area.
Yeah, and you can just dash right out, and you're right into the quest zone, and you're right there. So that part's definitely pretty cool.
What I'm hearing from you guys is Hunters, because it reflects the class.
Yeah,
are boring.
You don't.
That's what you guys are saying, right? Because you're saying it's the worst class hall.
No,
actually, it's not as good as the other class halls.
Actually,
so Hunters are the worst class in WoW. Is that what?
Well, I have not experienced every class hall that there is to be experienced because I don't know. So Warriors, I think from what I've seen is pretty cool. Paladins is pretty cool. Mages, I don't know that. Maybe you could say, Shark, is it cool over the mage place?
I have fun with it. Yeah, I was there. Cool. I was only there at the beginning of the alpha because cool. I was mentioning before, I try to avoid spoilers.
Right.
But I played some of the Fire Mage stuff, and I really can't wait to play. I will definitely get into play, maybe not through the whole story, but some of the Frost and Arcane when they release that, cool. Because I want to see how the different classes play compared to each other. I really feel like they made Fire feel very different from the way that Fire plays right now, currently in game. which I like the way it plays in games, sort of, but it's just never been enough to be viable as a main spec, you know? Maybe every now and again for a cleave fight. Like I know back in Blackrock, I mean, mages were the most amazing. Fire mages were great for cleave fights. It was just the way you went. But anyway, I'd like to see how the different specs play. It seems to me that they're trying to make all three specs equally viable and just play different based on play style. So I'm really interested to see how different the three will be. And I feel like they're going to be very different from how they are now. I don't think any of them are going to play the same way. Arcane sounds incredible from what we heard at BlizzCon. A lot of the changes that they're making, for me, I think would make Arcane a more viable, a spec I would actually want to play. I hate Arcane now. I hate it. I hate trying to manage my mana. I hate how it just feels. I don't like it. But
well, and it's not going to be for everybody. I mean, you know,
exactly. But we'll see. I can't wait to see how that goes.
That's always the way that. But the class hall is nice.
The class hall, the class hall. I mean, it's a big like arcane sanctum looking thing. I don't know. Cool. I'm not really into aesthetics. Cool. I think as much as you guys are.
That's awesome.
I'm like, well, where do I get the quest?
I mean, and
I want my gear to look cool,
right?
But that's about it. Like as far as like where my house is, I'm like, I don't care. Like the garrison. So I heard of people switching from Alliance to Horde or backwards and forwards because the Alliance garrison looks better or the Horde garrison looks better. Like, and I'm like, doesn't matter. The only reason I'm there is because I get free gold.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, from what I've heard, and I don't know this for certain, but you know, Darius was talking last week about the priest class hall, and he was saying, he told me, he said, you know, I feel like the priest class hall is missing some elements. It seems like it's just like a room or two, and you're just kind of there, and it's nothing really. And I showed him around the hunter class hall, and he was like going, oh my god, this is so cool, this is so great, this is so awesome. And I'm like going, you should just roll a hunter. I don't think he's gonna do it, but you know. Yeah. Acomp
says that all his hunters are rolling something else.
I'm not rolling
bad hunters
else.
Are.
I'm staying hunter.
I said all of his hunters.
I'm one of his hunters.
Rolling demon hunter.
I'm the one that sits on the bench. That's me.
You're going to be the only hunter left, and or you'll automatically get a play spot because they're going to bring Aspect of the Fox back randomly.
But I did. No. Priest was actually one of the first ones I did. The Shadow Priest before anything else opened up.
Okay.
And it's all right. It's very Draeneic. I don't know how to describe it. It's a Draenei place, and it's like one big room, and then on the left side it has like a very shadowy, obviously like the Shadow Priest area, and then on the right side it's kind of the Holy Sanctum.
It's Draenish, I think is what. It's a Draenish. You can have it for
Draenish. There we go.
For breakfast. It's fine.
But I mean, the Shadow Priest mechanics I really liked. I think Darius said he wasn't a huge fan, but I really liked the new Insanity mechanic and stuff.
Right.
Well, I say new. I haven't played Shadow Priest as it is now in a while, so it was very different from the last time I'd played it.
Cool. Now, Gizmo, did you play Hunter at all? Did you play both specs that are available? Because right now we have Marks and we have Survival. So.
I've done Survival, and I really liked it, which I didn't think I would like. But I mean, the Harpoon is just too cool.
Dude,
and it's really
so
fun.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's awesome, and it's really fun. For playing a Hunter for so long to get back in melee and hit things with Raptor Strike.
Dude, it's like Scorpion in Mortal Kombat. It's like, get over here, except for you're going to them.
You're going
and so it's a little
kind of
it's a little bit different. It's pretty sweet. And I'm like going, okay, especially as a gnome hunter, you can go over there and you can pull yourself in, and it's weird. It's a bunch of weirdness. But so I was playing Marks a little bit this year. Or this year. Either way. Doesn't matter. So I was playing Marks this week, and I'm not sure if it was just the way that I built it or whatever, but it seemed like Marks was not quite as bursty as I wanted it to be. Maybe I just didn't have the right dot set up or whatever. Because I mean, it's kind of combining what Survival is now with Marks, the way that we kind of understand it, and adding a couple of new things here and there. but without a pet, it seemed like I was getting kind of I was at range for a while, for like the first 2 seconds of an encounter, and then the guy would be in my face, and I'm like shooting him, and I'm like going, I don't know. So for soloing, I don't think Marks is necessarily the way to go as it stands right now. But I mean, for dungeons and whatnot, for raiding, I mean, it seems like it'd be totally cool, especially because you don't have to have a pet to worry about. So that's awesome. Yeah. But yeah, maybe it was just kind of like, I don't know. It seemed a little goofy to me, whereas survival just felt right, you know?
Yeah.
Survival just felt, you went in there and you just did stuff, and you went up and you beat him in the face, and you're like, yeah, take that one, mob. But just leveling on a Marks, it was a little weird. So I don't know.
I don't think I'm really looking forward to Marks too much. And I mean, I can't say for sure until I try it out, but just because I've been playing Marks so much this expansion, and I've been going lone wolf because it's what marksmen do right now. And it's hurt me a little bit because I haven't been able to have my sweet companion Bernard with me.
Bernard.
I'm really looking forward to whenever they release the Beastmaster stuff, because I'm super excited to try that out and have Bernard by my side once again.
Right.
Yeah. Sweet Bernard.
Right. The other one that I was trying out this week, so I did Marks a little bit. I did Ellie last week. I also tried Resto Druid. And the reason that I tried Resto Druid, I went through and I got the artifact. And I did this on my stream. So I went through and I got the artifact, and then I ended up falling through the world forever. So I'm like, I need a character reset because alpha is very alpha.
You can turn into an owl and fly back up?
No, I couldn't do anything. So I was like falling through the earth, and I tried to change into some kind of travel form, and I changed into the deer, and I'm like, oh well, I guess I can't do that then.
Should have turned into, isn't there a whale or something, or a seal?
Yeah, there's
that book.
Yeah, it's not aquatic form. It was just land form, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
I was wondering, is the Resto Druid weapon a dart gun, so you could pop priest bubbles? That's your dart
no,
gun?
we don't need to do that anymore because they broke priests, so they just said, you know what, screw it, we're just gonna break priests.
Or is it an actual personified overheal? Like that is what's that weapon? It's called an overheal.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what I use to defend my enemies.
No, it was cool though. So the Resto Druid artifact thing, it was really great, and you didn't have to be a DPS in a DPS spec to actually go get the weapon, which was nice. And it took a little bit of thought on my end, because it was like they blocked away and made it all kind of weird and whatever. And I'm like going, okay, well, had to kind of manage my way around, and it was all good. But yeah, ended up falling through the world. And the
one
big
little misstep.
Exactly. And the big reason that I wanted to check it out was because I wanted to see, and you guys, please correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't the devs talking about how they wanted to make it easier for healers to be able to level up using their healing spec? So be able to go through the world as a healer and still be able to kind of beat up mobs. I think that was something that they said at BlizzCon.
That rings a bell to me as well, because I think they stated that because they said the second artifact isn't necessarily going to be easy to get.
Right.
So that you don't want to have to go a DPS one first just to level up, and then what they haven't really announced how you're going to get your second one yet, then have to do that, so you can just do it right off the bat. So that would make sense. I mean, they don't want to make it a pain to level up.
Right. And you can't get another weapon until they allow you to.
Yeah.
From how I understand it. So you're kind of stuck. You're like, okay, well, I guess I'm going Resto then. But it was, so they have the affinity system for druids. The affinity system is basically you can play whatever spec you want, and then at level 45, that level 45 talent is where you say, I want to have an affinity with a different spec, and it will give you a different bonus, and you'll get some spells that relate to that particular spec. And so I was resto, but I was like, well, I want to be an affinity with feral. So it gives you a hit, a swipe, and a couple of finishers, and you're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very underwhelming.
Really?
Yeah, it was kind of like playing as DPS now with a resto druid. It's just like you're paper thin and like you take damage like nobody's business, and it's like, oh god, it's horrible.
I do feel like getting swiped by a tree branch next to getting swiped by a bear.
Right.
Would probably, I feel maybe they're just trying to be accurate.
Well, you go into cat form. I mean, it's not like...
Have you ever been hit by a twig in the back of the calf or something? That hurts.
Now, my mama used to call them hickory switches.
Yeah, there you go.
And she would say, do you need me to go get you? And I'll tell you what, the worst thing in the world is when you know you've done something wrong, and not only do you know you're going to get punished for it, but you have to choose the hickory switch.
Oh, no.
And it
as
can't
thick as you can.
Well, no. If it's too thick, it's going to break your bones off. And if it is too small,
break your bones right off.
The little small wiry ones are the ones that hurt even the most. So you have to go out there, and the whole time you're trying to pick it. That is the punishment right there. It's just the psychological torture of.
Maybe I was doing more damage to the mobs than I thought, but it was all psychological.
Yeah, they're scarred for life. Those little Murlocs are going to be terrified forever now.
Yeah.
The same.
Yeah.
I can't believe I brought up Mima again, and Darius isn't here.
Well,
to listen to the show.
Mima's a good part of the show, I think.
You know what? I'm glad she will never listen to it ever. I'm pretty sure. I think she just figured out Facebook is a thing. So
wow.
That's good.
She's
the best. That's pretty good. Podcast, you'd have no idea what that was.
Podcast? What is a podcast?
So it's like the radio?
No.
Actually, yes, it's exactly like radio.
Exactly like radio. That is it.
But you don't get paid for it.
Nope.
Right.
Nope. So anything else for Alpha guys that you want to talk about tonight?
If anybody from Blizzard is listening, fix Demon Hunter starting zone, please.
Oh, dude.
Vengeance.
Yeah, so we were so Shark. Yeah, you and I were both in the Demon Hunter starting zone, and there was a problem because one of the quests wasn't. I mean, you couldn't do it. You just couldn't do it.
You can't. You're supposed to wait. It's like take this elevator up to the next level, and there are about 20 demon hunters just jumping around, double jumping and gliding around where this elevator is supposed to be. And there's bug reports on the forums. No blue posts yet. It's been about a week since the first one I saw.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe it's working for. There's only one server, so.
Well, and it's like we want to bring this to you guys out there as much as we possibly can, and so it's it's one of those hangups.
My goal was to play today to get. I wanted to tank a little bit. I was going to see if Zug wanted to jump on his Resto Druid, and I would get on my tank, and we might try to run a dungeon or two if we could get there, but. I got to that thing and I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to watch Making a Murderer instead. This is something.
I got to that as well. And I realized that's actually how it's supposed to be. It's just the ultimate elevator boss. And no one's figured out how to craft it.
Oh, that's it.
Okay.
So it's,
I haven't put it up.
I didn't even know.
If there's actually a sign right next to it that says elevator coming down soon, TM.
Nice. TM. Of course.
It
was too much of a reaction for that dumb joke. I really did thoroughly enjoy it.
All right. I think that's enough for Alpha this week. We'll be keeping you guys up to date as far as the Alpha goes as we can, so that you guys know what to expect when Legion drops, right? But until then, let's get to some questions.
We've got mail.
We do. And if you have a question about anything for us about raiding or anything else, let us know. We'll try to answer it on the show. You can email us at converttoraid@gmail.com or call our raid line 612-787-RAID. And first up, we have a question from Dopaminer. And Shark, can you read this for us, please?
Absolutely. Convert to Raid. Could WoW effectively implement a Paragon levels progression system that reset each expansion? What would give it would give everyone a reason to play and progress and allow good players with bad gear to get groups. If so, what could it look like? Fun thing to think about.
Right.
That's Dopaminer.
Yes. And Gizmo, do you have any thoughts about this?
So I think it's a really interesting idea and fun to talk about. I think it would be extremely tough to implement because I assume, with the progression levels in here, he would be talking about you would still get some boost in stats. Maybe if a hunter, I would get like +5 agility for each Paragon level I get. So that way, I'm not necessarily a hardcore raider or something, and I don't have the gear to get in a good group, or I can't get the gear to raid at the level I want. So this would help out because you're getting stats through your Paragon levels. But at the same time, then you have to worry about, the hardcore players and stuff are going to be playing a lot, therefore getting a lot of Paragon levels, and they're going to be getting the good gear. So they're going to kind of outclass the content that they're working on. But if they could figure out a way to implement it, maybe it's not with stats, maybe it's with something else. I think aren't they doing kind of a Paragon system for PvP?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
So they're doing I can't remember what it's called, but
it's like
they're doing something where you can reset your levels essentially and get a Paragon, whatever a Paragon level would be.
Yeah, and it's for like transmog stuff, I think, for PvP gear or something. That's an awesome idea. If they could figure out a way to implement that into PvE, I don't know if it would be for transmog or something, but it could be really cool and kind of keep you going during lulls between raids, tiers and stuff to earn other items.
Prestige.
Yes. Prestige.
Yeah. Thank you, chat room. You're always there for us, which is great. Yeah. Shark, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Except for the problem that I see with it. I love the creativity here that it seems that Dopaminer has come into thinking about something like this. And he's addressing a problem that we have. There are issues that we see in the game and we want to get taken care of. And this could resolve some of those issues. The problem I see is if you make it something like stats, like what Giz was saying, then there's no cap on it, right? At least if we're talking Paragon levels the way that we're talking in Diablo, that's kind of what I'm getting here. Right. Is this idea, what Diablo seasons do is every season you start a completely new character. And in Diablo, you can level that character up to 70 in basically no time, especially if you have a buddy power leveling you through. But then you start doing your Paragon levels over and over again and build and build and build and build. And there's no cap. WoW doesn't work the same way.
No.
First of all, even just the way that I am connected with my character Melon, who has been my main since vanilla. I have been, and on and off, I've played Shark a lot. But for the most part, I've played, but anyway, I have a connection to him that if I had to start him over in some way, if I had to lose some of the progress that I'd made with him, even if it was just something like a Paragon level, it would be devastating to me because I'm like, no, I did this thing.
You're such a nerd.
Well, no, does that make sense? And I think
it does.
That's the way that WoW kind of plays. So I don't know if this particular system would fit in WoW. And the other thing would be balance, because basically what you're saying is if you have more time, you're going to have a better character. And so it's only going to be, kids in the summer that don't have jobs that are playing over and over and over and over and over because they don't have school or anything, and they can rack up these huge Paragon levels and then destroy everybody in PvP or something like that. These sorts of balance issues that you kind of have to look at. And like I said, even like Giz was saying, making something where we could be awarded transmog gear for doing some sort of we could have some sort of meter every time we do something, we get some sort of currency, I guess, and then we can spend But it's not a currency you have to grind. It's just by doing anything. Almost like being able to spend your achievement points is kind of the way
Sure.
that I would think of it. You know what I mean? And then that can get reset. But you can buy cool stuff like transmog gear or mounts, even pets.
Right.
I have a crazy idea.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Crazy idea.
Okay.
So what about like a Paragon levels or rating tiers? Because some people just have bad luck getting gear. And so they can't get up into the groups that they want to rate
That
at the level.
seems familiar, doesn't it, Shark?
I did
If
just
You
say,
with your one
You
piece
do.
of tier.
what if you do say the LFR 5 times or whatever? It bumps your item level, it scales your current gear up to the next level to where you could viably
gosh.
raid in normal.
Oh man. So
And then if you get that gear, it bumps you back down. You wouldn't get the set bonuses or anything.
I feel like
I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like the way they have it now, if you are fully geared in LFR gear,
Yeah.
you should be able to complete
What if
at
you
least
can't
the
get the
first
LFR?
few. I mean, eventually, I see what you're saying. I don't know. I don't know if that works
It was
for
a
me.
crazy idea.
I think the
It
only
is
I think
crazy.
the only place that it really works is in PvP, and I think the prestige system is essentially what we're talking about here, right? I
Yeah.
mean, that is essentially what we're talking about. The only thing that I could think about that was close to like Paragon levels or leveling within an expansion or whatever is just to try, as far as like from a PvE standpoint, is to say, okay, and by the way, this idea would take a lot of work, and there's no way that in any realm of existence that this is actually going to happen. But it would be great if they made it so that the base game, was to level 60. Each expansion, you would have it so that you would level 10, whatever you want to call them, levels for that expansion, and then go into rating. You know what I mean? But you do that for each expansion, so that, and they're all separate. So you don't have 60 to 70, 70 to 80.
I see.
You have 60 to Paragon 10
You have
to actually get into rating in whatever expansion it was, and it would all be kind of flat, right?
so you get a certain amount of levels, quote unquote levels per expansion. So for example, I am a level 60 character,
right.
but I am also level 10 in Burning Crusade, and I'm level 10
Correct.
in Wrath.
So you're Paragon
And
40 right now.
And then
Right.
but then if you go into Burning Crusade and you're Paragon 10 in Burning Crusade, then you could go raid in Burning Crusade, and it would be tough. It would be actually tough. And if you went,
so the
and
raid,
if you went into all of the Wrath stuff, and you were Paragon 10, you could go into raiding, and it would be actually tough. And if you
I
went
wonder,
into, I mean, that's that.
I wonder if anybody from Blizzard right now is listening to this podcast going, "Damn it, Pat! That's why
it
did we
would
not
work
do
out
that?"
really well. And
It does sound like kind of a great idea, and that way you don't have to worry about like the power surge type
Right.
deal, number crunches, and
Right.
the kind of stuff that we did.
exactly.
But I mean, the problem is, I guess
There are a bunch of problems with that, and that would be how rating evolves and how PvE evolves over time. It wouldn't be fair to go back and try to retrofit all that crap, and it wouldn't be fair to try to build new stuff into this system that wouldn't work for the past 10 years of stuff that we've had.
And as
So-
much as just the play style of the game changes, the way talents have changed, the way, I mean, you remember
Yeah.
talents?
Yeah,
You remember when
exactly.
talent trees were a thing and you were able to pick talents in your different specs? And I remember being like really super happy because I was an arcane fire mage and I had so many points in arcane and so many points in fire.
Yeah.
And I remember one of my raid leaders said that my talent tree looked like it was built by a fourth grader.
Well, and
But,
Acomp in the chat, by the way, Acomp in the chat, he says that SWTOR recently changed their model to have all content in their game scale, but that game hasn't been around as long as WoW has, and it hasn't had as much change as WoW has over the time. So I just don't think it would necessarily fit for WoW to necessarily do that, but it could be a really cool way to do it.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
I just think, especially for like, it goes back to that progression idea. The fact that if I was so strong 10 years ago when I was playing Burning Crusade, I should be 10 years stronger now. Does that make sense? So when I go back to Burning Crusade, it should be super, super easy because I am so much super, super stronger than I was back then. But that's somebody that's been playing this game for a long time. As a new player, I feel like your system might make more sense.
Right. Well, and
like the scale version.
And especially if you want to go back and experience those raids at level, you would be at level. Because you would be at 60, your level would be 60, and you would be Paragon, whatever it is.
And that's ACOM's also saying it doesn't scale. Swotor is talking about is the comparison we're making here. It doesn't scale you down to the content.
It scales content to you.
Content up to you.
Right.
So nothing changes about you. It just makes the content level whatever. But with raiding, it's impossible to tune that. For like questing and soloing, that makes sense. But I feel like.
And it's great that WoW is doing that in their alpha for Legion, where they have all the content scaling up to wherever you are, scaling up or down compared to where.
Yeah, and that's how it's going to be. All the zones and stuff are going to be. You can go wherever you want, which is awesome.
Great. And I think that there's a lot of real hope for finally getting to that point where we can say, guess what? We can go into any raid and we'll be scaled appropriately and blah blah blah. However, when it comes to it, Molten Core is probably going to be complete garbage. I mean, as far as like a scaling thing, because it's always going to be. I mean, it was when we had the 40-man raid.
That was awful.
So I mean, it was just all sorts of weird because raiding has changed so much. Right?
I never raided back then. I really wish I had my first raid was Terrazon.
Right, and I never did. I never did either. But it's kind of one of those things where you got into the new 40-man Molten Core when they had it, and it was weird. It was just totally strange and kind of random. So
very many changes happened there. I wanted to bring something. Dular said something also that I wanted to bring up real quick.
Yeah.
We were talking about the Paragon level thing. Players will figure out how to grind prestige and mass out their awards in a few weeks. That's absolutely true. I totally agree with you in that, but I think my argument against the Paragon point is the idea that there's no max, right? At least Prestige has some sort of cap, if I'm correct. Am I correct in that? Do you guys might know more about that than me? Maybe chat room might know? Anybody? The camera's still on me. Oh my God.
I don't know.
But yeah, I feel there's a cap, so you can't just grind out. Yeah, you can max your rewards out and cap it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, the thing about Paragon levels in Diablo, for example, if we're doing a system like that, it can go on forever, and you just continue to get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. So whoever plays the game the longest is the best player, basically.
Yeah.
I think that I don't think that's going to work, but anyway, that's a great question.
Yeah.
They're adding in Paragon levels, and we're going to have greater rifts in World of Warcraft with leaderboards. There it is.
I like it. They are. This is the Diablo expansion. We've been saying that for a minute because of all the changes they're making. I think they're interesting changes, though.
Yeah, they are. Absolutely.
Not Paragon levels. I don't think I'd be on that. I don't think that's something we.
It's not that Diablo.
Maybe something like that. Like I enjoyed thinking about it today. Maybe we'll come up like next week. We'll be like, I thought of a great Paragon level type thing.
Right. Right. Well, until then, why don't we jump from thinking about Diablo and WoW to thinking about other games in the Blizzard universe with the BattleNet News. Yes. So this is where we take a look at the big headlines from around the rest of the Blizzard universe. And first up, let's talk a little bit about Overwatch, because Overwatch has been off from beta since before the holidays. It's been off for, what's the day count? I think it's 6 weeks now. I think it's 6 weeks. Roughly.
Where's my tally mark on my wall that I cry to every morning?
I know that Solar Flare
unacceptable, Blizz.
Solar Flare actually had a day count going where he was like day 38 without Overwatch.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And he works at Blizzard, so he could just play it whenever, right? No, it's down. So he can't play it at all. And he's like, oh no. So I don't know. But Overwatch. So game director Jeff Kaplan took to the forums, and he talked about all things Overwatch. And I'm super psyched about all this stuff. But Gizmo, can you run us through some of the basics of what he talked about?
Yeah, so their original plan that they said is they wanted it up mid to late January, but it could possibly be pushed back to February, which, let's be honest, as soon as they said that, we knew it would be in February.
Yeah.
2017.
Yeah, the reason is, a big reason is, they had heard everybody talking about wanting a new game mode or a couple different new game modes just to really open up the game, because right now it just had the 2. So they, instead of bringing the alpha back early and then having to push off that, they decided, hey, let's just push the alpha back, opening it back up a few weeks, and they're going to have a new game mode, new maps. They've been talking about a progression system with some new hero balancing, and yeah, so it sounds like there's going to be a lot of new stuff when it finally comes back in for everyone to be excited about.
Yeah, man, it really does.
What are the 2 game modes we have now?
We have payload
and
oh, I see.
What's the other one?
Capture point. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, capture.
I was thinking they were going to add like different, like, because for me that sounds like new maps.
Yeah, new maps as well.
I mean, because
Right.
each map has like its own game mode.
New game mode sounds like.
So it's
new game mode.
It's
like,
It's new game modes with new maps. So because you need the new map for it.
Yeah,
because
like each map
so
right
new
now
game,
has a specific
new game mechanics. Then I guess
Yeah,
I don't know
right.
the way it sounded like for me. I'm like, are they going to have some sort of story mode?
well,
I have some sort of, you know what I mean?
No,
like, what is the new game mode that they're talking about? Is it going to be like a 3-man
No,
thing?
I would
or, I don't know.
imagine, like for instance, like Paladins, the game I've been playing since I can't play Overwatch.
Mhm.
Like they have a game mode where it's a capture point, but then after you capture that, you push with like a siege tank. So, in like instead of just trying to get that payload to the end and another team defend, maybe both teams are attacking and defending at the same time.
Right.
Kind of like a MOBA type thing. So I don't know if that's the new game mode they're looking at, but just something like that.
or
Okay.
something like a WoW battleground type of thing, or
Capture
or
the
whatever.
flag. That'd be sweet.
Or capture
Sure.
nodes or something along those lines. I mean, that would definitely change things up and make you think about the game differently. And so it's cool. I mean, to think that, hey, they've got a bead on whatever new game mode it is, and they haven't talked about story mode, just to clarify that.
Yeah, no, and that's something I actually think they've spoken openly about how they're not planning on implementing that at least at the launch of the game.
Right.
But still, I was I'm always excited. This game would be it's so prime for a story mode. It would be so good.
It
but
is.
I don't know.
I think that
Eventually.
I think that every single one of their properties, they could probably take a look at story mode and do something with it.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, because they're good at it. This is what they do. They're
Well, they
really
said
good
something like Orcs versus Humans didn't have a story mode. That was just a PvP game. And then they came out with Warcraft 2 and
story mode. There you go. But they are talking new game modes. They're talking new maps. They're talking progression system, which is really great as well. So we'll be able to hopefully get a sense of how we would progress in Overwatch, and along with balancing and whatever kind of cleanup they need to do, and also kind of paying attention to what's been going on with player feedback. So whatever kind of cleanup stuff they need to do there as well. So I'm super psyched, dude. I am super psyched to see this game come back, even though it's a couple of weeks out.
I'll probably take a few sick days for it.
I will if I can
Or
get
a
in
sick
it.
week. It's fine.
I thought you got in, Giz.
No,
you just got in for the weekend.
open
You played for the weekend,
Oh,
for that big
man.
weekend, right?
Yep.
So, well, that's better than nothing, man. Because I know a lot
You
of people
gotta-
that got shut out. Now I want everybody to come in because I know that when you're waiting for a game to start, you're like, no, I want everybody in here. I want everybody to play. We're all just trying to figure this thing out, this new thing out. So let's get everybody in here and let's have some fun. Let's have a good time.
I have
Just
a
not
feeling,
famous enough,
honestly,
man.
once it comes back, they're going to have another big wave of invites. And then I would imagine...
I hope so.
Because it's coming out this spring. So I would imagine that it's going to go into an open beta maybe late March.
Do you think that they will have an open beta? I'm not so sure that they'll be able to.
Didn't they?
Actually, I take that back. I don't think they will because it's not a free to play game or anything.
Don't they have a release date already?
Summer. So so it's going to be before June 21st.
Spring.
Well, sorry, spring.
Yeah.
So,
spring. So
before summer. So before June 21st, right? Okay. Or June 21st is the end date.
Yeah. So they don't want people getting in and playing it and decide they don't like it and then not buy it.
Right. But I would definitely think with all this new stuff, it'll probably come out to current beta holders. By the way, you guys totally. I was trying to troll so hard earlier and say you weren't famous. Now I just wanted to feed the trolls, and I wanted to make sure that everybody out there heard me do that. Okay, sorry. Poor Giz. But no, they'll open it back up to people that are already in the beta. They'll open more full beta slots out, and of course they're going to have another stress weekend.
Yeah,
where they open it up to a big group of people before closing it back off a little bit again. But I'm right with you, Zug. This is a game that I want everybody to be able to play. The same way I feel about Heroes. This game is a game that needs to be played with friends.
So much fun.
You need to be able to get some people together, even if it's just one or two people. And solo queuing has I know people in Heroes that talk about how solo queuing is their thing, and they like to just go in by themselves and do their job and carry. And I'm like, right. I mean, okay, but that's absolutely not, I don't think, the best way to play the game. It's not for me.
And this is why that I've said for the last, I don't even know how long, probably 6 months or more, about how I really want this to be the era where Blizzard comes in and says, this is the era for small teams. This is the era where we're going to have 5 and 6 man teams, and we're going to have you be able to play every single game that we can throw at you here. I mean, maybe other than Hearthstone and StarCraft, but try to really throw these games at you and say, here, play these with your team because this is how it's the most fun. So you'll be playing 5-man Heroes. You'll be playing Diablo together. Definitely. You'll be able to play WoW with the 5-man dungeons and having the loot be somewhat similar to that of a rating progression. Anyway, similar. And be able to do all those different modes with the new WoW dungeons. That is exciting stuff. And just like all this, and with Overwatch and with everything else, I just have so much hope for what this means for 5 and 6 man teams going into the future. And I think that might kind of stave off some of that resentment that maybe Warlords had with introducing Mythic as a thing. And so because there's been a lot of, I don't know, there's been a lot of like bad juju going around with some of the rating stuff with certain teams, especially those that can't form a full team, right?
Yeah.
And so those guys are always like, Blizzard doesn't care about us, whatever. No, they are. They're trying to address that. They're trying to address that with Legion. They're addressing it with Overwatch and with Heroes and with all these other games. And so I just have a lot of hope for those small teams. That's all I'm saying.
I think it'll be awesome. I think it's the way to go. I can't wait for it to come back.
I know. Me
and I can't wait for everybody to be playing it. It won't be very long. I already pre-ordered mine. I can't wait.
So did I. It's like first in line.
Did you get the statue?
No, I didn't get the statue.
No. I only got the basic one. I didn't even get the little bonus one. I just got the $40 one.
Yeah.
Because I'm a poor people. So I just did a funny dance. You guys need to watch the video.
You guys need to watch the video.
At least when I'm on the show.
That's it.
You can see how much more epic my beard is than Giz's, and
let's not get crazy here.
So if you want beards and glasses, watch the video.
That's what we saw. That people talking about calling the show "Convert to Beard."
Convert to beard and glasses. That's it.
Convert to beard.
Right. That's it.
Oh,
let's talk
good.
heroes, guys. I know that you guys
Yes.
are both into heroes, and I know that there's a bunch of stuff that's going on with that stuff as well. Gizmo, lead us through this stuff. What's been happening this week in heroes?
All right, so we obviously had the big announcement last week of the two newest heroes that will be entering the Nexus. And I really like the way they did this release. They just released a couple teasers where it was just a couple question marks, and then they had some voice clips. And
Right.
then the next day, they released the portraits with like an outline of the hero, which was awesome. Twitter was going nuts over it. And then the next day, they finally announced that it's going to be Li Ming, the wizard from Diablo 3, and Zool, the necromancer from Diablo 2, which I know a lot of people have been wanting.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's cool.
fantastic. Li Ming is going to be a ranged assassin with a really high skill cap, but can put out a lot of damage. And Zool is going to be a melee specialist who looks like a blast. But if you guys want to hear a lot on that stuff, make sure you guys check out Stormcast's latest episode, number 80.
Yep.
Which is, of course, Mick's Heroes of the Storm podcast. And huge grats to them. They got Browder on for an interview, which is
great.
it's a pretty big deal as far as
It's a huge deal.
because
It's awesome.
the Heroes team is very public in Twitter and stuff, but they really haven't done interviews with podcasts and stuff. So
I think that
huge
this was the
congrats to
first
them.
round where they actually went out and did a bunch of different interviews with websites and podcasts and stuff like that. And Mick was one of those. Stormcast was one of those great podcasts that actually got to have Dustin on and talk about the new heroes. Mostly, I think for the most part, it was like 99% the new heroes. But it's like a half-hour interview with Dustin Browder, which is awesome.
It's
So-
a lot of time. Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
really
and
great.
so that they also discussed, the stun meta that's in the game right now. That's kind of been putting a dark shadow over the game. Just it's so prevalent, and you're seeing the same heroes. Tyrande, for instance, was a auto first pick, auto ban for a long time. So they're doing some stuff to address that as far as nerfing stun durations and stuff. They changed cleanse, and they are trying to avoid diminishing returns. Which, if you don't know that, you get stunned.
If you're
the
a
next
WoW
time
player,
get-
you know what DR is.
Yeah, exactly. So if
Yeah.
you got stunned again, it would be a percentage. But they don't want to do that. You don't want to have to be doing math in your head for stuns. Like, oh, this person just got stunned, I can't stun them. So they're working on it, and it's
The
it's taking
beauty-
a step in the right direction.
The beauty of this game is its simplicity. So I agree that diminishing returns is not something they should jump into lightly. I feel like there are better there are better ways to combat the stun meta. One of them, I think, was the cleanse change.
Yeah.
But I think there need to be more talents, more heroes. That basically what cleanse does now is it makes you unstoppable, right? So you for 1 second, so you can't be stunned. But look at something like, you only have one character that really has any sort of avoidance to stun, and she's not a very strong character. And Johanna is still she's a viable tank.
I love Johanna.
But there are reasons in competitive play why you would or would not want to take her, and she's the only one with her Iron Skin trait that can really not be stunned. It's basically like a 2-second long cleanse plus a shield, which is a huge ability, seeing how cleanse is a talent that you have to choose and don't get any of the other talents, and it's only 1 second. Anyway, all of that to say, I feel like they can work on the talent system to offer new and different talents, maybe add-ons to different talents that can help you become unstoppable. So you can dive in and
so
do something,
amazing.
balance that way.
I still like
She's
her.
really good. I think she's probably still I don't know. I play Warrior.
As soon as she was released, I was like going, "Oh, this is my character."
I play main Warrior with AWJ, and for a long time I did not like Johanna. I thought that she was. and Anubarek's always been my favorite tank, even though he's not very strong right now.
He's a bug.
I love it. He was so good. He's still so good. If you're doing the Beetle build, you're building him wrong. But he's my favorite tank.
Oh boy.
And but yeah, I hated Johanna, and then I started playing Johanna, and she has probably become my most played hero, and she's really, really strong.
She's super cool.
Yeah, and Muradin is just, his stuns are just. If I have an opportunity to have Muradin and Diablo right now as well, Muradin or Diablo are probably who I'm going to pick first.
Right on.
But the couple other things that they went over, season 1 in Grandmaster League, Dustin Browder tweeted out that that's still probably a few months away.
So what's the deal with Grandmaster League then?
So they're wanting
What's the
right
plan?
now. You can get up to rank 1, and I don't know. I guess they're wanting something after rank 1 for like the top of the top and stuff, and to have rewards. And I think they've talked about changing up the ranked system completely to where it's not, the rank 50 through rank 1 for different things, which is one of the reasons why the season is taking so long to come out, and they're wanting to fix matchmaking and add in bans.
Oh yeah.
Which they're still talking about. So
and they still have a ways to go with matchmaking, right? I mean, they still have.
It's definitely taken steps in the right direction. It is a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
People are still freaking out though. Matchmaking is never, ever, ever going to be perfect. You will get bad games, and people need to understand that.
I don't know. It's working for me in Rocket League. Every time I just get matched up perfectly. So why can't they do it?
Yeah.
But it's definitely taken steps in the right direction. They're going to continue to work on it. It's on the top of their priority list. They don't want to make a bad game. They want you to have a good time.
Oh
and
yeah.
work.
Yeah, definitely.
But other than that, Space Leoric is out as well as of today.
Space Leoric, yeah.
Space Leoric.
Darth Leoric.
Darth Leoric. It's really super cool.
Leoric the Sith. Awesome. Anything else in any of the games going on that you guys want to talk about before we get the heck out of here?
Nope, I already called out Invin for killing me, so
we're good.
That Invin killed me, so
we're good.
Get those bans done, Heroes team. Get them out now. I team bans, please.
Oh boy, somebody wants the bans.
I want to see them. I want to be able to not have to play against the same 5 heroes every single time I draft.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be good?
It would be awesome.
That would be good. All right, let's play this music real quick, and we'll see what kind of. We don't have any 5 stars this week, as far as I know, because Darius isn't here, so he usually does that stuff. I don't know what's going on iTunes, but if you want to give us a shout out, give us a shout out on iTunes. Give us a 5-star over there, and we'll shout you out next week. Any shout outs this week from the fellas here? Gizmo?
Again, I just want to give a shout out to Mick, Notch, Dills, and Stormcast for their huge accomplishment on getting Dustin Browder on. And then also, my show, Lords of the Storm, is actually going live for the first time. It's about time. I think it'll be episode 49.
I'm surprised you guys haven't done that before.
Yeah, we've been working towards it. But we're doing it. It'll be every Wednesday at 9 Central. So the same time this show is, except
the next day.
Yeah.
So
so if you guys are interested in heroes and stuff, come check that out. We'd love to see you guys in the chat room.
Twitch.tv/Lords
of the Storm.
Lords of the Storm. That's really difficult to remember.
Yep.
Shark, anything this week? Any shout-outs?
All you beautiful people out there in the world. I love each and every one of you.
Wow. In your own special way. I definitely want to give a shout out to everybody who set stuff up for the CTR 3-year anniversary this last week. It was really great to get out there and meet a bunch of new people and do some stuff with the folks and the peeps, and it was just a good time. So thank you guys, and well done over there at the CTR Guild. 3 years, my God.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been craziness.
I haven't even been around that long. I mean, in the guild, I was actually I was born a year and a half ago.
Right. Of course.
I'm sorry, I forgot. Sorry, before you go, I did have one shout out. I wanted to give a shout out to the guys in the core, Scott Johnson and John Jagger and Bo Schwartz. Apparently they answered an email of mine that made John mad. I haven't listened to it yet, but Giz was telling me about it. But I wanted to shout those guys. I really do love that show. It's a lot of fun. Listen to as many Blizzard game podcasts as you can, folks. There's some really good stuff out there.
There's lots of great voices out in the Blizzard game podcast arena, so make sure to check those guys out as well. And we cannot do this show without you guys. Thank you so much for joining us, taking the time to talk to us, give us questions, all that kind of stuff. If you're in Discord, that's awesome. Again, discord.converttораid.com, and you can join in on the conversation over there, as well as many other places. Like, you can email us at converttораid@gmail.com. You can call us and leave comments and questions on our raid line, 612-787-RAID. That's 612-787-7243. Did I get that out right? Yeah, I think I did. You can also follow us on Twitter at ConvertToRaid or individually. Isn't that right, Shark?
Yes, you can follow Pat Crane at Pat Crane. You can follow Gizmo at Gizmozord, and you can follow me at Sharku_CTR.
See, if we just have you do it, then there's no confusion at the end of the show. There's no
I know.
Sharku's Meemaw _ CTR or anything like that.
Sharku_me. Who somebody out there has
Meemaw.
the name Sharku's Meemaw on Twitter, and they're getting
That's
a
funny.
bunch of hate mail. Like, I can't believe what you said on Convert to Raid. They're like, I don't know what that is. Stop yelling at me. I don't even have a big red thumb beard.
That's hilarious. Hey, and guys, make sure to join the Bazooba Guabo Nation by heading over to convertttoraid.com. That's where we have our show downloads, our forums, videos, audios, tons of links for raiders, and so much more. All the guild stuff as well over at convertttoraid.com. For the live shows, head over to convertttoraid.com/live, and we're also on iTunes. We're on Google Play. We're live streaming on alphageekradio.com, and so much more. I don't even know where all the places we're at. It's crazy. The Convert to Raid podcast is produced and distributed by Signals Media. And make sure to check out all of our friends on the Signals Media All-Star Network over at signalsmedia.com. And that is it for the show. So thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Shark. Thank you, Gizmo. And you guys in the chat room, you guys at home. Awesome to have you here. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you on our next show next week at our regular time, Tuesday, 9 p.m. Central. And for all the guys at Convert to Raid, bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.